Do you ever ask yourself, what's wrong with me? What impact does that have on you? How does that make you feel about yourself? You're listening to Pure Light, where we explore how you can believe in yourself and be happy with who you are. My name is Ailey. I'm a coach, writer, and yoga and meditation teacher. This is episode 118. In the last episode, I talked about how sometimes when your feelings aren't what you thought they would be, you end up questioning why they are what they are. And that can lead to saying something to yourself like, I should be happy. Why aren't I happy? What's wrong with me? And there are other things that can trigger this question as well. It usually seems to be when there's some kind of expectation in your mind about who you should be. So how you should behave, how you should show up in the world, or how you should feel. So after saying stuff to yourself like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have said no, which can lead to asking yourself, why did I do that? What's wrong with me? So having this thought or asking yourself this question isn't a sign that there's something wrong with you. It's a sign that there's an idea in your head related to who you should be that doesn't align with who you are. So it's a sign that you have an ideal self in your head that you're comparing yourself to. It's also often a sign that you're experiencing some kind of negative or heavy emotion, like guilt or regret or shame, because in some way things didn't turn out the way that you thought that they would. So when this question comes up, it usually seems like there's something that separates you from everyone else. So there's an answer to that question that makes it seem like you're somehow different or like you don't belong for some reason, like whatever that reason is that the mind comes up with. But it actually connects you with humanity in a way because it's something that we all experience. It's part of the human experience. So when you catch yourself asking, what's wrong with me? There are two ways that you can look at this. So the first one, which I'm guessing is probably often the default, is that there's an answer to that question, meaning there is something wrong with you, like the problem is you in some way. So in order for the problem to go away, you need to align with the ideas you have about who you should be. Or in other words, you need to kind of change or fix yourself so that you meet that expectation of all the shoulds and you become that ideal self. So that's one way of looking at it. And the other way of looking at it is that the only problem is the idea itself, meaning there's nothing wrong with you. And it's only the idea that there's something wrong with you that is the problem. If you can notice the idea that you're judging yourself by, so that should or shouldn't statement that you say to yourself, you can choose to let it go. Because if you keep holding it up, you're asking yourself to live up to that idea and then judging yourself for when you don't. But if you let go of the idea, there's nothing wrong with you. You can just be as you are. Because there's no standard or expectation for you to judge yourself by. And there's no way for you to create that gap between who you are and who you think you should be. So you've set yourself free. In Untamed, Glennon Doyle Melton said, "The only thing that was ever wrong with me was my belief that there was something wrong with me." So you can let go of that belief. You can let go of the idea that there's something wrong with you. And you can also let go of the ideas you have about who you should be, because those are the things that make you feel like there's something wrong with you. And the ideas that you have about who you should be exist in your own mind. So whether or not you choose to keep operating by those ideas is totally within your control. You get to choose whether or not you believe those ideas. You get to choose whether or not you think they're true, and whether or not you keep holding yourself to those standards. Because holding yourself to those standards is just a mental habit. It's something that happens in your mind. And because it's a habit, it's something that's totally within your power to change. When you ask yourself, what's wrong with me? Don't assume there's an answer to that question, because your mind will find an answer if you let it. Assume the problem is the question itself. The only thing wrong with you is the idea that there's something wrong with you. It's the idea that you shouldn't be the way that you are. When you let go of the ideas you have about who you think you should be, you can stop wondering what's wrong with you, because you no longer have those ideas and expectations to judge yourself by. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to Pure Light wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a review. That'll help other people find it. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, may you be guided by your light.